One night in Saddle Arabia, by a wise pony. Princess Celestia sipped her drink as she watched an evening's entertainment. Much of the expansive courtyard had been converted into a stage, and the aerobic feats and complex dances being performed in her honor were superb. The Saddle Arabians had gone all out for her visit. In fact, the performance, though she was reluctant to admit it, might very well have put the tarot routine Toilette had planned to shame. One of her hosts asked her a question in a lyrical local language. Celestia answered without hesitation. In over a millennium of rule, she had learned quite a few things, languages amongst them. Although this beverage was new to her. It was dark, sweet, and smooth, with a pleasant aroma that seemed vaguely familiar. As she set her cup down, a servant hurried forward to refill it. Celestia stifled a grin as she remembered a similar instance of such swift and attentive service. Still, now that she thought of it, she had hoped for a bit of fun hadn't stained the cake's tablecloth. That, as well as her own dislike of repeated pranks, kept her from trying the same trick here. Instead, she thanked the servant and took another sip, and then set the now empty cup aside. The servant again stepped forward, and, with a tilt of his head, refilled the cup from the pot he held. An idea began to form in Celestia's head. She took another sip and slowly lowered the cup back to the table. A servant again poured more of the beverage into it, stopping just before the brim. Celestia immediately seized the cup and drained it. He poured again, faster this time. She drank just as fast, and this time with a loud slurp. Her hosts looked at her oddly. Celestia smiled reassuringly and restrained herself to polite sips. Still, she was determined now. She was going to find out just how many cups that pot held. In Canterlot, the moon rose above the horizon, and Princess Luna relaxed as the glow of her horn faded. The spell would continue slowly until it was time to fully lower the moon to make way for the next day's sun. Now was time to travel the world of dreams. The Princess of the Night soared through the minds of her subjects, calming this nightmare here and there, or pausing briefly to marvel at the joy of a happy dream. She noticed, with some pleasure, that a good number of the latter did involve a nocturnal backdrop. They were not quite as equal in the number of those where the sun shone in the sky, but Luna did not dwell on this, choosing to be content that there were at least those who appreciated the night, even as they slept. Besides, the solar orb floating through the collective unconsciousness was a constant reminder of the last visit she had planned to make this night. Since her return to her duties as guardian of the dreams, Luna had ended each night with a visit to her sister's mind. Unlike many, Celestia typically shared her lucidity, and this tradition was a pleasant occasion, a chance to converse before the day broke, and Luna found herself asleep. They had had many memorable conversations, and tonight Luna hoped to further discuss plans for Equestria's near future, one of a pony in particular. She departed the last of her dreams of the ponies who slumbered below, and then cast herself further afield towards the distant dreams of those in Saddle Arabia. As she searched, she recognized a few, the ambassadors, their families and friends, and those lesser familiar, but she could not find Celestia. Had Luna been corporeal at the moment, a cold shiver would have run down her spine. Celestia rarely missed her sleep, and indeed, in the 3 years since her return, Luna only knew her to have stayed awake for this far into the night on only 2 occasions. During the time leading up to the changeling attack on Canterlot, and the few days when King Sombra had once again returned and threatened the Crystal Empire. If Celestia was again out of her bed at this hour, then something was doubtlessly very wrong. Luna returned to the physical world, and immediately began another spell. Her horn glowed, and a whirlwind of magic surrounded her, as she warped space itself to appear in Celestia's chambers in Saddle Arabia. As the magical energies dispersed, she steeled herself, ready to offer counsel in the face of whatever new threat loomed on the horizon. At the telltale sound of magical transport, Celestia set down the steaming cup she held and turned away from her writing to see her visitor.
Oh, Luna. Good evening.
You mean good morning, sister. What troubles you to be awake at this hour? Strangely, Luna was sniffing the air. Celestia wondered if perhaps her sister smelled her drink.
Troubles? Nothing troubles me tonight, Luna.
Celestia took a sip from her cup before continuing.
No, I just couldn't sleep tonight for some reason.
Why not? Are you sure nothing is the matter?
Well, I am in the middle of a little contest.
Celestia admitted.
You see, at dinner, one servant kept refilling my cup as fast as I could drink it, and rather than send him away, I decided to make a game of it. And so I finished the pot he had, and turned in for the night, only I wasn't tired, and the servant knocked on my door. He had a fresh pot of whatever this delightful drink is.
She waved the cup for emphasis, her magic wavering, and almost splashing some of the cup's contents onto the floor.
So I continued the contest, and he's just now gone back to the kitchen for another pot.
There was another knock on the door.
That should be him right now.
I see, Luna said, as Celestia opened the door to admit the tired-looking horse with a pot on his back. Luna took the opportunity to glance at what Celestia had been writing. The words were strangely uneven, almost illegible. And what are you writing?
Oh, just an alphabetized history of Equestria.
Celestia explained as the servant refilled her cup. Again, the smell seemed to catch Luna's attention.
I've almost finished the section on Cloudsdale.
She thanked him before draining the cup again and holding it out for a refuel. Luna noticed an exasperated look on the horse's face. That, added to the familiar aroma in the room, gave her a fairly good guess as to why Celestia was awake. How many pots have you had, sister?
Oh, a few.
Celestia sipped. How many is a few?
9, I think.
Again, she sipped her drink. 9? You mean you have drunk 9 pots of coffee, all by yourself?
Coffee? Isn't that what it's called?
Celestia smiled as she took another drink.
I kept meaning to ask, but after each cup so many new ideas came to me that I kept forgetting to.
I see. You do know what coffee does to you, right?
Gets the mind working at top speed? Perhaps I should send Twilight some. She'd enjoy that.
All that, and it keeps you awake.
Oh.
Celestia looked sheepish. She set down her cup, and Luna noticed that her magical grip again shook noticeably. The servant promptly refilled it again.
But he keeps pouring.
I believe I can solve that. Luna waited for Celestia to finish drinking, and then gripped the cup herself and tilted it from the side to side. An expression of relief washed over the servant's face. He bowed, took the cup, and left.
What was that all about?
Celestia asked, puzzled. There are some traditions regarding coffee you must know, sister, Luna explained. For instance, in Saudi Arabia, they will keep pouring you more until you just shake your cup.
Oh. Oh no. So what I thought was a contest was just him doing his job.
Indeed.
So I was keeping him up. I had better go apologize to him.
Celestia trotted towards the door, planning to do just that, but Luna moved in to stand in her path. In the afternoon, sister.
The afternoon? Why is that?
You'll see in a few hours. Halfway through scrolling through the first page of the settlement in Horseshoe Bay, Celestia yawned.
Oh, finally, I can get some sleep.
Yeah, about that. Luna pointed at something on the desk. Celestia followed her hoof to find an hourglass, showing it would be soon time for dawn.
Oh no.
Still, it was her responsibility. Celestia trotted warily to the balcony, Luna at her side. She forced herself to focus. Magic surrounded her horn, crawling up on its edges, until finally the spell was begun. With a painful slowness, a glow appeared on the eastern horizon. As the minutes passed, it grew, until finally the sun was in the sky. A lovely sunrise, dear sister, Luna chuckled. So sedate. A snore interrupted her laughter. Luna turned her gaze away from the sun to see her sister curled up on the balcony, fast asleep. Smiling, she gently lifted Celestia up, levitating her to the bed, and set her down. She then slowly trotted out of the room and quietly closed the door. Now, to explain to their hosts why Celestia would not be joining them for breakfast, and, Luna still stifling a yawn herself, to ask for another cup of coffee. The end.